Recording in All right, y'all. I have the amazing Brett Marvel on with us today. How are you, Brett? Welcome.
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Always, always. Well, let's get down to it. The new one's The Trouble with Mistletoe. We have an adventure going on, I will say, with Luke and Victoria. But before we get into what we can look forward to with the both of them, tell us why say yes and why be a part of this, and how was it for you? You know, your first impressions with Luke.
Yeah, I've been a part of the Great American family for a few years now because of my involvement with County Rescue. And every time that I would chat with their leadership team and their creative development team, they would drop hints here and there that they wanted to get me involved in a Christmas movie. And the stars perfectly aligned for this one. I was actually in Florida on vacation with my family and sitting on the beach, and I got a call from my agent, and she said that they wanted to cast me as Luke in The Trouble with Mistletoe, and I was that's kind of like the perfect, you can't imagine a better way to get a call for that you got a job when you're sitting on the beach.
True.
Yeah, so it was a really quick turnaround. It was they I got that call, and then a week later I was on set. It was a short turnaround time for me to digest the script and get into the character. But immediately, once I started reading the script, I could see and understand who Luke was. There's a lot of commonality that I have with him in the sense of that I grew up in a small town in Indiana and lived in that community for the majority of my life, up
Wow.
until just a year ago. So many of the ideals that are important to him with faith, community, tradition, all of those things are things that I hold dear as well. And so it was easy to find connection points with him. Yeah, he's a man of deep loyalty and conviction, and but he's madly in love with this woman that wants nothing to do with the small town. And so he's found himself at a little bit of an impasse of what to do. And what you find out pretty early on in the movie is that they were at one point in time together and went their separate ways, and now this business opportunity where Victoria's company has sent her to Brook Hollow to close this deal, finds Luke and Victoria back together again, having to deal with the business side of their relationship. But quickly, you start to see those old feelings start to surface for both of them, and sets the whole rest of the movie in motion.
I'm telling you, when I got from Great American, when I got the synopsis of the movie, that was the first thing that just jumped off right off at me. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to love this one because you have two people that obviously had a past. They know each other,
Right.
reconnection. And then it's like, okay, where are we going to go with this story? I love stories like that.
Yeah. And I really like about this script is that there's a good amount of tension throughout the whole script.
Mm-hmm.
And tension is maybe a little bit too strong of a word in some sense because the tension is delightful. It's so fun to watch because you could see both of them have passions and drive, and neither one is willing to kind of budge. They're both very stubborn, but it's very endearing and very a fun experience to watch them go on this journey together. And I think that what also really grabbed me about the script was that it showcases that tradition. We live in a society right now that wants to kick tradition to the side, get rid of tradition. And a lot of people view that what have that viewpoint because maybe it's old or misunderstood. But tradition, more often than not, is there to teach us. It's there to inform us and instruct us about the past and who we should be in the future. It doesn't mean that we should always have to stay and do the exact same thing every single year, day in and day out, just because. But when we understand why it's there, it can motivate and lead us into a better life in the future. And so those were just some things that really bubbled to the surface in the midst of it being your classic Christmas rom-com.
And I mean, who doesn't love a Christmas rom-com?
That's
I mean,
right.
I mean, seriously, who doesn't love the mixture of Christmas time and a good rom-com?
Right.
I'm just
Yeah.
well, you kind of touched base, and I want to know from you because it seems like Luke was very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to get to know in this one. But can we look forward to some like special highlights between Luke and Victoria? I know you said there's going to be tension between them, but is it ultimate? How can I put it? Good highlights or good little Easter eggs that we can look forward to with this one.
Oh, absolutely. You're gonna have, I would say this movie checks a lot of boxes if people are looking for that classic Christmas rom-com. So you're gonna have the snow, you're gonna have those romantic touch points, you're gonna have some laughing moments, you're gonna have Christmas decorating, you're gonna get all the Christmas feels this early in July. That's for sure. Um, and part of that, I think, some of my more favorite scenes to shoot or scenes with Jillian and myself. Jillian plays Victoria, where we're talking about Christmas, we're reliving Christmas memories,
Mm.
and you see that the sparkle start to come back for both of them. There's also hockey in this movie. Like you've got a mixture of so many different things. Um, but yeah, it's definitely going to satisfy. In fact, we did an exclusive screening last night with some of the PureFlix premium subscribers uh, through Great American Family, and seeing the comments roll in as the film was playing, like this film does not disappoint. It exceeds expectations, and it'll get you in the holiday spirit very, very quickly.
And I love Joanne also. I mean, you couldn't have found a more dynamic female lead in this one.
Yeah, she was tremendous, and what was really funny is that she and I did not know each other, hadn't met before making this movie, and we have so many of the same friends. We run in the very similar circles, and
Mm.
all of our friends just assumed that we had met and known each other. And when I told one of my friends that I had booked the role, they said, "Oh yeah, you and Jillian will have a blast. You guys are obviously very close." And I said, "Well, I've never met her before, so we'll see how this goes." But very first day on set, we were actually in the wardrobe room doing our wardrobe fittings and doing hair and makeup tests, and that was our first introduction. And we hit it off so quickly, and she was so welcoming, so inviting. And with this is my first Christmas rom-com movie. She's obviously a veteran when it comes to Christmas rom-com movies, and so she made me feel right at home, and we share so many of the same ideals and values, and we had a blast on set, and you could you could definitely see, like I mentioned last night in the live stream, the comments were rolling in that the chemistry between the two of us is really electric. It really works, and it was validating for me because you felt it when you were on set.
Yeah.
There were several moments where we both would just look at each other and think, this is working. This really works. And so to see the affirmation from the fans was really encouraging.
And I think you touched on something. I'm doing this for this long as I have. I love getting the feedback from all of you guys. I love Jillian. I love she is. She's like a holiday veteran with these movies. And
Right.
I, it's literally, and as soon as I saw that the both of you were paired, because I knew you from running the bases, I knew you from County Rescue, and of course, I've known Jillian. But as soon as I saw the pairing of the both of you, I'm like, okay, match made in heaven.
Oh, that's so kind of you. And what was cool is it was a fulfillment because um, years ago, there were two different movies that I was being considered for that if I had been cast as the male lead, I would have been playing opposite Jillian. And those circumstances didn't work out. And so I was very, very thrilled that that finally worked out for both of us to work together. And I hope for a lot more opportunities to work with her in the future. It would just be a blast because we work really well together.
And I'm just going to tell you, this is not going to be your last Christmas movie. I'm just telling you. Listen,
Thanks.
listen. The next time you have a Christmas movie, you're going to come around and go, "Hey, Donnie, I knew you were
That's right.
telling about
You called
something."
it. There you go. There you go.
Again, I love Christmas. I love Christmas stuff, and this is my new thing that I'm doing with all of my Christmas peeps that are doing Christmas movies. Um, I want to know some of your favorite Christmas traditions that you had growing up.
Yeah, so growing up, Christmas was pretty traditional in my home in my household. So it was, doing the Christmas Eve service at church, and then opening presents with my family early, than Christmas morning, and doing the meal, going to visit family, and all of the things. I was born and raised in Indiana, so there was almost always snow all over the place, which made it very, very festive, and it was very often that me and my siblings were outside playing in the snow on Christmas morning. And so there's all those nostalgic memories that I have that I hold very dear to my heart, and just the quietness of spending time with my closest family members, my parents, my siblings, and our dog around the fire, around the Christmas tree. So that was very very normal and traditional for my upbringing. Now being a married man with four kids, we've been
Oh,
trying
God
to
bless
make
you.
some new traditions, and so we do still stay at home quite often on Christmas Day, and I'm the chef when it comes to Christmas. I love cooking, and so I put together a really big Christmas feast for my wife and kids, which usually consists of beef Wellington, which is not easy to cook, and we have just a lot of great time chilling with each other. But now the tradition um, is really just spending time with family. We want to make sure that we make family a big part of every Christmas year, and because that's really what it's all about. I mean, we we've we have my faith is so important to me, and it's something where we obviously want to take time to celebrate the reason for the season, which is Jesus Christ, but we want to celebrate that with people we love. And so family has become such a big part of why we do what we do.
It's faith is huge for me too, and there's a lot. That's one of the biggest things that when I got to know you and your work and your faith really touched my heart because it's so nurturing to see somebody with, and I will say, with such amazing talent like yourself being an actor, but not afraid to say, you with your faith. And I love that. And you're right. It's the faith aspect. And of course, the kids made the holiday too.
That's right. Well, and I think the cool thing for me, especially now that my kids are getting older, is being able to pause and talk about what faith even means to us and why Jesus came, and how that incorporates with just the simple act of giving gifts to one another. It's such a great teaching moment for me to be able to teach my kids, and for me to be reminded of how precious the gift of Jesus is to us. And we shouldn't take it for granted. We shouldn't squander it. And I think, Christmas time can be challenging for a lot of people. It can be heavy. And I think that's why movies like Trouble with Mistletoe are so important, is because it brings to the forefront hope. It brings love, second chances, and a whole host of other themes and topics that people can glean from the film. And I was just blessed to be a part of it.
Now, where was this one filmed, The Trouble with Mistletoe?
We shot it in Buffalo, New York, and it was every bit of cold as you can expect from Buffalo, New York. So all the cold and the snow is real. It was not computer generated or added later, which was fun. I have friends who have shot Christmas movies, in the summertime in very hot climates where they're faking everything, and that's just sounds miserable to me. So being able to have that nostalgic feel of the cold and the snow really, really uh, just added a lot to the movie.
Now, We are all looking forward, including my family. I have them either watching. I said, if you guys don't have anything to do, you're sitting your butts down and you're watching this one. If not, you're DVRing it. They all listen. They all listen to me. But I wanted to touch base with you because I loved, as I mentioned, I loved your role in County Rescue, and another showed so beautiful with faith and you know EMTs and the struggles, and so it's so near and dear to the heart for you. It wasn't as moving as it feels for me to do a project like that.
Yeah, county rescue is so personal to me. It's become um, such a big part of my life the last 3 years. And so, like early on, it was just I was pinching myself when we shot season one because um, I was just so honored and blessed to have been given the opportunity to be in a show that highlights faith, highlights first responders, but then also just tells real stories of what we all deal with in some way, shape, or form in life, but obviously focused in on how it affects these EMTs. And and as you've seen my character progress over the last 3 seasons, I started out as really just the goofball, comic relief. And through a series of, pretty hard things that have happened to Andy's life, you've seen his faith really have to come to the forefront. He can't rely on anything other than his faith during some of these darker moments that you see him go through in season three. And for me, it was very cathartic because pain is not a stranger to any of us, and it's
Mhm.
not been a stranger to me. And it was I was able to tap into how the Lord has been near me in my deepest and darkest moments, and
Mhm.
try to bring that into the show. And there was just so many cool conversations that the cast and I would have on set. And I mean, that cast is like a second family to me. They're so precious to me in so many different ways. And so any excuse that we ever get to be around each other is a very awesome time. But yeah, County Rescue, I can't say enough about it, um, and just how important it is because I mean, I know before I booked the role of Andy, the only times that I would really think about EMTs was when I needed them, you know, and you don't think about them too much after the fact. And these people, they carry a lot of burden for other people. They're the first ones on the scene in people's darkest moments, and they have to shepherd them to get help and sometimes be their immediate help, and then they have to take that and live with it. And how do they navigate that at work and at home and all these different types of dynamics? And so it's just a such an honor to highlight them and to honor them as best as we can.
And I wanted to bring that up because when I first met Andy in season one, and I laughed. I laughed when you said goofball because I think that was like the first thing that really said, I'm like, I am gonna like this dude. I really am gonna love this dude. But you know, it's one of my biggest, I think, reasons why I love that show so much because you hit it right on the head. You don't think of EMTs other than okay, car accident, God forbid, you have to call them.
Right.
Some medical alert happens, but you don't. And major kudos to everybody involved with that show. You don't understand what goes on here by from what they see on a daily basis.
Hmm. Yeah,
It,
and I think that's something that um it's changed me obviously very intimately in the sense that if I ever do come across a paramedic or an EMT, I
mhm.
interact with them a lot different now than than 3 years before booking the role. And you have no idea how big of an impact simply saying thank you to these people can be. So just simply going up to an EMT and saying thank you for what you do. Because there's a lot of times that they are the unsung heroes of our culture. And and so then being able to walk in their shoes in a very small way has just really grown my appreciation for them.
And see, you just hit on a question that I think I get all the time. All the fans, everybody asks me of the actors and the actresses that I talk to, do you think that these roles have an effect on them? I'm like, you don't understand. I mean, especially a role like County Rescue, you just solidified what I tell everybody. I'm like, they learn lessons when they do these roles,
Mm.
and it does have an effect. You step into the life
Mm.
or the make pretend life of an EMT, but you're still going through it, if it makes
Right.
sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so seasons one and two, we actually shot in a fully functioning EMT station. And so while we were filming, the real life EMTs were there on set, and sometimes we'd have to pause because they had to go on a run, and the ambulance fires up and they're out the door. And we tried, to stay out of their way as best as we could, but inevitably there were moments where we just had small conversations with them. And granted, they're some of the most down to earth people I've ever met in my life. It takes a very special person with a very specific type of demeanor to be able to be an EMT. And that is someone who is not a prima donna. They don't have an ego. They don't take themselves too seriously. They really do love to serve. And and so just being able to hear kind of what they do on a day in and day out basis, and how they have to be ready. Like, I mean, there was some stretches of time at any given day where the siren isn't going off, there's no rescues happening, and you can get kind of comfortable. But the moment that that siren goes off, they have to jump into action, whether they're tired, whether they're grumpy, whether, no matter whatever personal problem they may be dealing with, they have to put that to the side. And
Yeah.
the selflessness that just rises to the surface is something that I think is really is really special for us in the show to be able to try to highlight as best as we can.
Well, you do a great job. I've loved the goofiness from season one, even up until now. I'm just saying. I wanted to touch base. I love Great American Family just for all of the programs that they do, but I have to ask you, you did America Reads the Bible, which I did along with you guys. That had to be so moving to be a part of a project like that.
Yeah, it was quite literally one of the honors of my lifetime to be involved in such a historic moment for our country. I was actually on set of County Rescue season three when we were shooting, and Julia Riley and I had gotten invited to be readers in America Reads the Bible, and up until that point, I hadn't heard about it. And the moment that I was reading this invitation, I had to take a step back, and it was such a kind of an out of body experience to think that all these people, leaders, entertainers, authors, pastors, nurses, doctors, lawyers, like the gamut from all walks of life, moms, dads, and everybody else, coming together, checking their titles at the door, and simply humbly coming before everyone in our nation's capital to read a portion of scripture over our country. The honor is like doesn't even seem to be quite adequate of enough of a word for me to describe like what I was experiencing. I was backstage in like the green room area right before I went on to read, and someone asked me, they said, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "Well, it's not so much nervous. I just this is a historic moment. You could feel the weight of it. Everything just felt very weighty and important." And um, and all I mean all week long we had PureFlix on 24/7 in our house, just uh so that even if we weren't paying attention every waking moment, the words of God were just flowing through our house. And you could just feel it. It was a truly spiritual and historic moment for our country, and the fact that I got to be a part of it tickles me to death even to this day. When all of us readers backstage got to sign our name next
Mm,
to the passage of scripture that we read in a
mm.
Bible that will be showcased at the Museum of the Bible now.
Ooh,
And so like to think that I'm even like I'm a part of history. Like it was a weird thing because I mean I'm just an actor and a director, so like I try not to take myself too seriously. Um, and then to see even the president of the United States join in to be a part of it, I mean, it just shows you how big of a deal it was, and it was a really cool moment.
And it's a moment that you'll always, and that's, the first hearings of what that, Great American was going to do that. I'm like, oh my God. And then like to be a part of it. And I love it. You just put the exclamation point at the end to know that your name's going to be in that book. It's just
Yeah.
complete, unbelievable. Well, I got every single fan asked. I said I will ask him. Besides Trouble with Mistletoe, do we have anything possibly out there that you're working on, or possibly could be working on? I know you probably can't say if you are, but
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely projects in the works, both with Great American Family and things that are outside of Great American Family. Um, I've been told I don't have any specifics yet, but I've been told that Trouble with Mistletoe won't be my last Christmas film, which I'm very blessed and excited to hear that. Um, and so yeah, people will have to stay tuned, but there's a lot of different things in the works right now. This is kind of one of those development seasons of life for me where I've been shooting quite regularly the last 6 months, and everything is in post-production right now. And so it's kind of like the quiet moment to regroup and plan for what's next.
well, you know what, my friend, I have to say, chatting with you, getting to know you, you are 100% the vibe that I thought you were. And
Oh,
and God really, you are someone specially chosen. And I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you. You have such a beautiful soul, and you were chosen to be a part of that Bible. You were chosen to be a part of County Rescue in this one. And from my mouth to his ears, I'm going to tell you, this is not going to be your last.
well, I appreciate that so much, and I'll hold you to it. How about that?
Hey, you can ask, you can ask because I know we probably have mutuals around it. You can ask. Listen, as long as these eyeballs are open, you have 100% support coming from over here.
Oh, it
That I
means a
can
lot.
guarantee you.
I really appreciate that.
Well, Brett, this is not our last time. I do appreciate you taking the time. We're so excited to see The Trouble with Mistletoe. Congratulations. And just, you're amazing. I know there's going to be much more that's going to be coming around for you, and I can't wait to catch up again soon.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. It means a lot.
Same here. You take care and give my love to your wife and big hugs to the kiddos.
Okay, will do.
Bye bye.
Bye.